Coronation Street has revealed a preview clip from next week's episode, as George Shuttleworth and Christina Boyd make a shocking suggestion about Summer Spellman in the Theo Silverton death storyline. The duo knew that Summer was no fan of Theo's, but in this clip from Monday's episode, they realize her hatred goes much deeper than they expected. As they read about Summer blaming Theo for Billy Mayhew's death and how she thinks he's a monster, George asks Christina if she thinks that Summer could be the killer. "It's often the quiet ones, isn't it?" Christina states as Summer walks in. She sees they've been reading her diary and kicks off for going through her things without permission. It's quite a comical scene, with George and Christina snacking as they read the diary, and most people would be furious if someone read their diary behind their back. But could the couple really have discovered the dark truth about Theo's death? There are a lot of serious scenes for Summer next week, as she ponders whether running away to the US to study at university would be seen as an admission of guilt. The suspicion against her piles up when Lisa Swain discovers a piece of evidence placing her at the scene of the crime on the night, and she's pulled in for police questioning. George also remembers some details about that night that make Summer look even more suspicious, though she manages to turn it around on him, which not only raises some red flags about his whereabouts on the night, but also Christina's. We won't find out the killer just yet, but Summer actor Harriet Bibby puts forward a convincing case that it could be her character. Theo stole Billy away from Summer. He's also taken a part of Todd, because he's not the same guy as he once was. It boils down to the question, would Summer kill to protect what's left of her family? The cobbles of Weatherfield had barely recovered from the shock of Theo Silverton's sudden disappearance when another bombshell ripped through the street, and this time, it centered around Summer Spellman. For weeks, everyone believed Theo had simply fled after the violent chain of events that destroyed his reputation and left several families torn apart. Rumors spread like wildfire through the Rover's return. Some said he'd gone abroad. Others whispered that he was dead. But nobody expected Summer to be hiding a secret that would change everything. It all began on a stormy Monday evening. Billy noticed Summer acting strangely from the moment she returned home. She barely touched her dinner, jumped every time her phone buzzed, and avoided eye contact whenever Theo's name was mentioned. "You all right?" Billy asked gently. "Yeah. Just tired," Summer replied quickly before disappearing upstairs. But Billy wasn't convinced. Later that night, Todd Grimshaw arrived with shocking news. A backpack believed to belong to Theo had been discovered near the canal. Inside were his wallet, phone, and a blood-stained jacket. "He wouldn't just leave that behind," Todd muttered grimly. The possibility that Theo had met a deadly end sent panic across Weatherfield. Sarah feared a killer was on the loose. George insisted the police were missing something. Meanwhile, Summer looked like she was about to collapse every time the investigation was mentioned. The next morning, things got even worse. D.S. Swain arrived at number 11 with questions for Summer. "We've recovered deleted messages between you and Theo," Swain explained carefully. "Messages sent the night he vanished." Billy stared at Summer in disbelief. "What messages?" Summer froze. Her silence said everything. Reluctantly, she handed over her phone, but it only deepened the mystery. The deleted texts revealed Theo had begged Summer to meet him the night he disappeared. "I need your help. Please don't tell anyone." Another message read, "They know what happened." Billy's face drained of color. "What does that mean?" Summer burst into tears. "I didn't kill him," she cried. The accusation hadn't even been made yet, but suddenly everyone in the room was thinking the same thing. As news spread around the street, the gossip exploded. In the cafe, Betsy told Lauren that Summer had definitely snapped. At the pub, Kit suggested Theo may have been blackmailing her. But the truth was far more complicated. Summer finally confessed everything to Billy and Todd later that evening. The night Theo vanished, he secretly met her at the community center. He was terrified and convinced somebody was following him. According to Theo, he had uncovered a devastating secret involving someone close to the Platts, a secret powerful enough to destroy multiple lives. He said he couldn't stay in Weatherfield anymore, Summer admitted shakily. He wanted money, a place to hide, anything. Todd frowned. So what happened? Summer hesitated. He told me someone attacked him earlier that day. He kept saying, if they find me, I'm dead. Billy urged her to continue. Summer then revealed the huge shock that changed everything. Theo had asked her to help fake his death. The room fell silent. He planned all of this. Todd whispered. Summer nodded through tears. He said disappearing was the only way to survive. Theo had staged the bloody jacket near the canal to convince everyone he'd either died or left for good. Summer reluctantly helped him after he promised nobody would get hurt. But there was one major problem. 2 days after Theo vanished, Summer received a voicemail from him. And now? Theo sounded terrified. The voicemail was chilling. If you get this, don't trust anyone. I made a mistake. They found me. Then the message abruptly cut off with a loud crashing noise. Billy immediately contacted the police, but Summer begged him not to. He said they'd come after me too. DS Swain launched a massive search operation, convinced Theo was now genuinely in danger. But suspicion still lingered around Summer. Why had she hidden the truth for so long? And who exactly was Theo afraid of? The mystery deepened when Kit Green discovered CCTV footage from the bus station on the night Theo disappeared. The footage showed Theo arguing violently with an unknown man wearing a dark hoodie moments before boarding a coach out of Weatherfield. Even more shocking, the man looked frighteningly familiar. When Todd enhanced the image on his laptop, everyone was stunned. Wait, that's Gary. Gary Windass immediately denied any involvement. I never touched Theo, he snapped. But the evidence kept piling up. Maria confronted Gary after discovering he'd secretly met Theo days earlier. Under pressure, Gary admitted Theo had accused him of covering up an old crime connected to a dodgy business deal months ago. He threatened to expose me, Gary admitted. But I swear, I didn't hurt him. Suddenly the entire street was divided. Some believed Gary was protecting himself. Others thought Theo had manipulated everyone from the start. Meanwhile, Summer became increasingly paranoid. She started checking windows constantly and refused to leave the house alone. One evening, she found an envelope shoved through the front door. Inside was a single photograph of Theo. Alive. Scrawled across the back were 4 terrifying words. You should have stayed quiet. Summer immediately broke down in panic. Billy finally realized the danger was real. The episode ended with one final jaw-dropping twist. Late at night, Summer received another phone call from an unknown number. Her hands trembled as she answered. Theo, she whispered. A weak voice replied. They know where I am. Then came the sound of shouting, a crash, and the line went dead. As Summer stared at the phone in horror, the camera cut to a dark abandoned warehouse where Theo lay bruised and bleeding on the floor while an unseen figure stepped toward him. And just before the screen faded to black, the mystery attacker spoke 3 chilling words. You should have run. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Coronation.